Nice that you are looking at Betty, a song by the American singer-songwriter Taylor Swift from her 8th studio album, Folklore, 2020. It was written by Swift and Joe Alwyn, under the pseudonym William Bowery, and the former produced the track with Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff. MCA Nashville and Republic Records released the song to U.S. country radio on August 17, 2020. Betty is an Americana-inspired song combining country, folk rock, and guitar pop. Its production consists of a harmonica, a pedal steel, guitars, and a key change after the bridge. The lyrics are about a relationship between two fictitious characters named James and Betty. Some media publications initially interpreted the song in a queer context due to the lyrics not mentioning James's gender, but Swift stated that James is a 17-year-old boy. Narrated from his perspective, Betty is about his apology to Betty after having cheated on her. They are two of the three characters involved in a love triangle depicted in 3 folklore tracks. The other two being Cardigan, from Betty's perspective, and August, from the remaining unnamed character's perspective. Music critics viewed Betty as a throwback to Swift's early country music songs. Many praised its engaging storytelling and commended how her songwriting matured over the course of her career. Betty peaked at number 6 on Hot Country Songs and number 42 on the Billboard Hot 100. It peaked within the top 40 on singles charts in Australia, Canada, and Singapore. The single was certified gold by Music Canada, MC, and the British Phonographic Industry, BPI. Swift performed Betty live at the 55th Academy of Country Music Awards on September 16, 2020. The performance was recorded and released on digital music platforms 2 days later. The song was included on the set list of the Eras Tour, 2023-2024. The American singer-songwriter Taylor Swift conceived her 8th studio album, Folklore, with producers Jack Antonoff and Aaron Dessner of The National. Betty is the only song on Folklore produced by both Antonoff and Dessner. For the song's sound, Swift used Bob Dylan's albums The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, 1963, and John Wesley Harding, 1967, as reference points. The song features a co-writing credit from Swift's partner at the time, the English actor Joe Alwyn, who was initially credited under the pseudonym William Bowery. She stated that, one day, she heard Alwyn singing the entire, fully formed chorus from another room, and asked if they could write a song together while in quarantine, which eventually became Betty. Swift cited Patty Griffin's Top of the World, 2004, as her inspiration to write from a male perspective. Antonoff, Dessner, alongside the engineers Jonathan Lowe and Laura Sisk, recorded Betty at Kitty Committee Studio, Swift's home studio in Los Angeles, and Long Pond Studio, Dessner's studio in Hudson Valley, New York. The instruments were recorded at Hook and Fade Studios in East Williamsburg, New York, Pleasure Hill Recording in Portland, Maine, and Rough Customer Studio in Brooklyn. Serban Gania mixed the track at Mix Star Studios in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Swift surprise released Folklore on July 24, 2020. In the primer that preceded the release, Swift teased imageries of various tracks, with Betty being about a 17-year-old standing on a porch, learning to apologize. On August 17, 2020, Republic Records and MCA Nashville released the track to U.S. country radio as a single. Betty runs for 4 minutes and 54 seconds. An Americana-influenced song. It features a production that critics described as reminiscent of Swift's early country music albums. They pointed to the use of guitars, a pedal steel, and an interlacing harmonica. Hannah Milrea of NME commented the track combines country with folk rock, the genre that Tyler Lee from the Recording Academy also associated Betty with. Other reviewers described the genre as guitar pop and 1990s alternative pop. The song incorporates a key change after the bridge. Critics likened Betty to the songs of other musicians. Vulture's Justin Curto said it harkens back to the guitar pop sound of the alternative rock band Sixpence None the Richer in the 1990s. Whereas Rob Sheffield of Rolling Stone compared the harmonica solo to that in Bruce Springsteen's 1975 song, Thunder Road. As with other folklore tracks, Betty features vivid storytelling. It is one of the 3 tracks that depict a fictitious, teenage love triangle, the other 2 being Cardigan and August. They narrate the storyline from the perspectives of each of the characters involved, at different times in their lives. Betty is narrated from the perspective of James, who cheated on the titular character Betty, as he involves himself in a summer fling with the unnamed female narrator of August. Therefore, James shows up at Betty's party to reconcile with her. He apologizes about his past mistakes but does not fully own up to them, citing his disdain of crowds and Betty's wandering eye as excuses. Swift explained that James has lost the love of his life basically and doesn't understand how to get it back. The lyrical structure of Betty is characterized by a dramatic shift from the conditional, "If I just showed up at your party, would you have me?" to the present, "I showed up at your party, will you have me?" Inez is an additional character named in the song, who is portrayed as a gossip. James confesses that, even though Betty does not usually believe Inez because her gossips are mostly false, Inez is right this time about him. The characters, James, Betty and Inez, are named after the daughters of the actors Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. References to a porch and a cardigan at the end of Betty echo the imagery in Cardigan. Although Swift explicitly stated that James is a 17-year-old boy. Due to the lack of mention of James's gender anywhere in the album, some audience interpreted Betty in a queer context. When Desna was asked about the song's potential queerness, he replied, "I can't speak to what it's about. I have my own ideas. I also know where Taylor's heart is, and I think that's great anytime a song takes on greater meaning for anyone." Music critics gave Betty positive reviews. Many complimented Swift's songwriting as intricate and vivid, and noted how it matured since her early teenage works for Variety's Chris Willman and Esquire's Dave Holmes. The song exemplifies folklore's fictional narratives, departing from Swift's previously known autobiographical songwriting. The latter deemed it the album's centerpiece. Rob Sheffield of Rolling Stone said that Betty, alongside the 2 other tracks also addressing the fictional love triangle narrative, constituted folklore's 3 best songs. The Atlantic's critic Spencer Kornhaber lauded how the suspenseful storytelling made him stand up and put hands on head while waiting for it to end. Finn McRedmond of the Irish Times praised the narrative of Betty as captivating as a feature film and wrote that by the end of the track, "Only then do you realize how catchy the melody is." Rob Harvilla of The Ringer thought, "Betty will remind you how sensitive and sly a songwriter she is and has always been." Ellen Johnson of Paste named the track as one of the best country songs of 2020, stating that it proves Swift's empathy truly knows no bounds, being written from the point of view of a regretful teenage boy. In the New York Times' individual critics' lists of the best 2020 songs, Betty was included on such lists by John Karamanica and Lindsay Zoladz. The Tampa Bay Times featured the track on their list of the 30 best songs of 2020 at the 2021 BMI London Awards. Betty won an award for Most Performed Songs of the Year, marking Allwyn's first BMI win. After Folklore was released on the Billboard charts dated August 8, 2020. Betty debuted at number 6 on Hot Country Songs and number 42 on the Billboard Hot 100. It is Swift's 22nd to reach the top 10 on Hot Country Songs and marked the highest debut for a woman since Bebe Rexha's Meant to Be, 2017. The song debuted at number 60 on the Country Airplay chart, marking Swift's 36th entry on country music charts. Betty opened at number 1 on country streaming songs and number 15 on country digital song sales. After its country radio single release on August 17, 2020. It was the most added track of the week on Mediabase-monitored country radio stations. Elsewhere, Betty peaked on singles charts of Australia, Canada, Singapore, Scotland and Ireland. In the United Kingdom, Betty reached the OCC's Singles Downloads Chart and Audio Streaming Chart and was certified gold by the British phonographic industry. The single was additionally certified gold by Music Canada. Following the inauguration of the Billboard Global 200 chart, Betty appeared at number 180 on the chart dated September 19, 2020. Swift performed Betty live at the 55th Academy of Country Music Awards at the Grand Ole Opry House on September 16, 2020, marking Swift's first performance at a country music show in 7 years, seated in front of a glowing stage light. She performed the clean version on a black Gibson acoustic guitar, and was accompanied by one harmonica player. Sheffield said the live version was an arena rock blast. Swift wore a burgundy sequined turtleneck and khaki pants. The live version was released onto music streaming and digital platforms on September 18, 2020. Swift auctioned off the Gibson guitar, which she autographed, on her 6th headlining tour, the Eras Tour, 2023-2024. Swift added Betty to the regular set list. In the 2024 leg of the tour, the second verse was omitted. This is the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.